Our presentation is going to be on Tuscola County. It was done by Allison, Miranda, Stan, Macy, and Joe.
This is a geographic description of Tuscola County. The land area is 20,850 square miles. The population is 52,516 people. The population per square mile in 2010 was 69.4. The environment is rural, and Tuscola County is referred to as the Thumb Region. The largest city in Tuscola County is Caro. The socioeconomics of Tuscola County include median household income in 2017 was $45,495. The poverty rate is 14.9%, and the median property value is $98,800.
This is Tuscola County's ethnicity broken down. So predominantly, the population is white alone at 96.3%. The Hispanic or Latino population is 3.5%. Two or more races, 1.4%. Black or African American alone at 1.3%. American Indian and Alaska Native alone, 0.6%. And then Asian alone at 0.3%. So the median age in Tuscola County is 44.1 years. Persons under 5 years make up 5.1% of the population. Persons under 18 years make up 20.4% of the population. Persons 65 years and over make up 20.3% of the population. And then 49.8% of the population are females. For religion in Tuscola County, 32,534 individuals are deemed unclaimed, 13,401 are evangelical Protestant, 4,756 are Catholic, 4,360 are mainline Protestant, and then 678 are categorized as other.
The first concept is vulnerability. The primary concepts of vulnerability in Tuscola County include environment, population, resources, healthcare, transportation, socioeconomics, and support. The vulnerable population in Tuscola County includes elderly, children, uninsured, and pregnant women. Elderly people 65 years and older in Tuscola County make up 20.3%. Children less than 5 years old make up 5.1%, and the uninsured population makes up 7.4%. Resources include WIC, Maternal Infant Health Program, Medicare, Medicaid, Veteran Services, and the Tuscola County Health Department. The environment in Tuscola County is rural, which may cause social isolation. Depression and suicide may occur as a result of social isolation. There is no OBGYN in Caro, and the closest one is in Saginaw. Socioeconomics in Tuscola County include low income, which may cause poverty and unemployment. The poverty rate is 15.9%, and the unemployment rate is 6.2%. Transportation in Tuscola County includes long bus routes because of the rural environment. Support includes family and counseling, and many people are uninsured in Tuscola County, which may cause a lack of immunizations, ultimately resulting in the spread of disease.
So for my concept, I had disaster. Surrounding disaster, you'll see resources, local landscape, types of disasters, and nurses' role in the disaster. We'll start with local landscape. Tuscola County has a lot of fields, rivers, woodlands, small towns, and farmland. Next, we'll start with the resources that Tuscola County has. They have local emergency department, local police department, mobile medical response. Caro has a small emergency department, though, so in the event of a disaster, they will not be able to take that many patients. And then in the Thumb and all over Michigan, mainly, you have types of disasters. Man-made disasters, you have pollution and erosion, with lots of farmland and chemicals that can run into streams from runoff during large rains. So pollution is a potential problem. And then in natural disasters, you have a lot of floods, tornadoes, thunderstorms, and wildfires. So you have high winds and things like that. Then the nurse's role in a disaster, you have emergency planning, search and rescue, and temporary housing.
Now we'll move on to violence in Tuscola County, and we'll start with some statistics. So the violent crime rate is 273 per 100,000 people. There were 55 sexual crime offenses in 2018, and there were also 55 aggravated/felonious assault offenses in 2018. There are different types of violence, but we'll focus on the three major categories. So the first type is physical violence, and this can include domestic violence and then also assault and battery. So the domestic violence can include violence toward a spouse or a partner, children, basically anyone within the same household. And then assault and battery is physical violence toward anyone. The second type is psychological violence, and this can include workplace violence and then also emotional and social. For the workplace violence, this can be a threat or even intimidation by your employer, your boss, your manager, or other coworkers. And then the emotional and social violence includes words that make you feel worthless or negatively affect your self-esteem. The sexual violence includes rape and then also any unwanted sexual advances. There are specific populations who are at a higher risk for violence, and these include the elderly, children, the physically and mentally impaired, and then also the homeless. And then a few resources for victims of violence within Tuscola County include the Tuscola County Victim Services, the Thumb Area Assault Crisis Center, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is available to anyone, and then the general support groups, support from family and friends, and then counseling. There are a few different influences for violence patterns in Tuscola County, and this includes the overall culture, so family dynamics within the area, and then community social norms. And then also the environment impacts violence patterns. It is a rural area, so that can have an effect as well. Here we have a concept map showing the various relationships between the concepts related to violence. So in green we have our primary concepts, which include types of violence, prevalence, influences, and resources. The secondary concepts are in blue, so we have psychological violence, physical violence, sexual violence, emotional support, organizations, vulnerable populations, culture, environment, and statistics. In orange, we have our tertiary concepts, workplace violence, emotional and social violence, domestic violence, assault and battery, rape, counseling, family and friends, support groups, Tuscola County Victim Services, Thumb Area Assault Crisis Center, National Domestic Violence Hotline, children, the physically and mentally impaired, the elderly, community social norms, family dynamics, rural area, 55 aggravated/felonious assault offenses, 55 sexual crime offenses, and violent crime rate of 273 per 100,000 people. Then we have the quaternary concepts, Highland Pines School and Carroll Center, which are just further resources for the physically and mentally impaired, one of those vulnerable populations. And then in addition, we have our lines making the connections between the various concepts.
So the next topic is diversity in Tuscola County. So the population is 52,516, and the main race is around like 97% is just white Caucasian. There are around like 3.5% Hispanic and Latino, and 2 or more mixed races is about 1.5%. Black or African American are about 1.3, and all other are rest of 1%. As a age and a sex, the diversity is under the 5 years. They are like 5% are the under the 5 years kids. Under the 18 years kids are about 20%, and persons about 65 in years are also about the 20%. Male female ratio is almost the same. It's about 50%. The main language gets spoken in Tuscola County is English, about 98%, and Spanish is almost a 1%, and the rest of them are the other languages. Main religion is unclaimed is about half of them, but the other main religion is evangelical Protestant, and about like half of that are the Catholics, like that. There is like about 7.9, so almost 8% are veterans, and foreign born percentage are very less, just under the 1%. The health here, the diversity in the health is like people with the disability under the 65 are about 15%, and persons without insurance is very good compared to the whole America, is only 6%. Is the education, high school graduates are about like 89% are the high school graduate, and with the bachelor's degree is very minuscule, is compared to the high school graduate is up to only 13.8%. Income is about average medium household income is about 45,000, and per capita income is about 23,500, and about 15% people live under the poverty. Average male salary is 63,000, while female is only 46. And these all information I got from the census.gov and the arda.com. That's for the religion information. And the next one is a concept map describing the both things, the religions and what are the main dynamics are, and how the health is related to the population.
Health surveillance is the next topic, and the primary concepts of this include environment, population, resources, socioeconomics, and education. Public health surveillance is the continuous collection, analysis, and interpretation of health-related data needed for the use of planning, implementation, and evaluation. Health surveillance can serve as an early warning system for public health emergencies, document the impact of an intervention, or monitor the epidemiology of health problems. This allows for priorities to be set and to inform public health policy. There are a variety of clinics that are available at the Tuscola County Health Department. They strive to enhance the community's quality of life by disease prevention, health protection, and healthy lifestyle promotion. Programs such as maternal infant health and family planning clinics help to refer people to the appropriate resources. Communicable disease nurses follow up with necessary actions for any reported communicable disease in the community. Environmental health is responsible for a variety of things in the environment, including food safety, to help prevent food and waterborne illness.
There are many common attributes among vulnerability, disaster, violence, health surveillance, and diversity in Tuscola County. Vulnerable populations are at risk during disasters and violence. They are also at an increased risk for contracting disease. They are at risk for disasters, violence, and disease because of lack of resources. Vulnerable populations make up a diverse community, including minorities. Low-income populations are vulnerable due to lack of health insurance, lack of financial resources to rebuild their lives after a disaster, lack of education, and increased violence in neighborhoods. Health surveillance covers all concepts by surveilling the community as a whole in regards to communicable disease and immunizations.
Some of the different attributes for our concepts include the different resources. For example, violence has the resources of domestic violence hotlines and Tuscola County Victim Services. Health surveillance has resources that include environmental health, communicable disease nurses, and immunization clinics. Vulnerability has resources that include WIC, maternal infant health, veteran services, and Tuscola County schools. Disaster has resources that include the emergency room, police departments, fire departments, and ambulances. And diversity has churches, friends, and family. Some of the predictive factors that we have identified is that 96.3% of the population are Caucasian. And common health issues among Caucasians include melanoma and bladder cancer. Another one is the identified need for education. Only 13.8% have a bachelor's degree or higher, and the decreased knowledge about healthcare may increase diseases. The protective factors we have include wearing sunscreen annual physicals and screening for various health conditions, patient education, and school health education for students. Next is our community diagnoses. For our actual, we chose improper nutrition related to insufficient resources as evidenced by rural Tuscola County food desert, lack of financial resources, and lack of education. For our potential 1, we chose the risk for health disparities among vulnerable populations in Tuscola County related to minimal financial resources. And for our potential 2, we chose the risk for fetal development issues and poor maternal health among expectant mothers related to the absence of an OBGYN in Tuscola County. Our recommendation is to implement health education measures that target all populations and to continue to provide additional services to vulnerable populations within this community. And lastly, our community interventions include health education camps provided for the younger population. WIC assists a child until they are 5. An additional program following WIC would be beneficial and could help keep children on the right track. Another one is an occasional free health screenings with health education at public places. This could also include a homeless shelter and other community establishments. The next one is recruitment of OBGYN providers and services for the community since they do not have one in Tuscola County. And the last one is to continue to offer services like WIC, maternal infant health, family planning, veteran affairs, environmental services, and children's special healthcare services through the health department there.